Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
me, Rob. And do we have a schedule release for you?
Oh, it is a schedule release party. Whoop, whoop,
Tell you about the schedule's ahead of us.
On today, what is a very important day, by the way. Today is the 3rd anniversary of Rob being one of my groomsmen at my wedding.
It is. Happy anniversary, Drew.
Which also makes it, of course, my wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
And here I am. We're not gluttons for punishment for this whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm risking the couch, goddammit, for this.
No, I just got text you on the couch.
Yeah. No, I'm good. She's actually on the couch with the dog because our dog just had surgery today. I was talking to Rob before we got started here, so sorry. We're a couple minutes late, but that's on me. It's not me this time. It's not him. So I'll take the blame. But listen, we got a lot to go over today with the schedule release. It's a very interesting schedule overall. It's a very tough schedule. Many have said that we have really the toughest schedule in the entire NFL. I'm going to call BS on that because you have no clue who has the toughest schedule to the end of the next season.
That's pretty fair.
Let's be honest. Like, we had the toughest schedule based on last year.
And
it doesn't say much.
Year to year. Last
year, we thought the Commanders would be a bad team, probably. We thought the Vikings would be not so good at that point. You know, we thought the Cowboys would be a whole lot better than they were. There's a whole lot of things that change as the season progresses. You know, like, you don't know. You don't know. And listen, I'm going to tell you point blank, we're going to make a lot of predictions here. We don't know.
It's a guesstimate.
It's a guesstimation. It's a hypothesis.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with hypotenuse. That's a triangle thing.
I
forget what it is. That's part of a triangle, right? I think. I don't know. Right?
Hypotenuse, yeah.
I don't know.
Our dogs had surgery today.
Oh.
I was talking to Rob.
Oh, there we go. So we got a little feedback here from
echo
half an hour ago. It's a very delayed echo. So, but yeah, we're going to go over all that. We're going to go over our schedule record prediction as well for you guys. We're also going to predict if we think the Giants will make the playoffs. Can they make the playoffs? Well, hopefully.
Maybe.
Playoffs!
I just want to win a game.
Yeah, basically where we're at right now. We're also going to talk about the absolute biggest mistake the NFL made with the Giants schedule this year, because there's one game specifically that you look at and you go, what the hell, NFL? You ruined a potential great matchup there. And it's going to sound weird when you hit the team until you look at who is playing and the changes made this offseason. I'm going to give too much away here because I talked about much later on in the show here. So let's start it off here with our opener. So our opener is going to be an away game. Looks like week 1 is going to be September 7th at Washington. So we get the Washington Commanders, which I don't really hate, but I don't love. It's not the Cowboys, at least. And I'm still at that point where I don't want to play the Cowboys week 1 because I'm just so sick of playing them. Like, it felt like 15 years in a row. But we do get the Commanders. We also get them week 15 at home as well. So that's our 2 Commanders games going on this year.
Pretty spread out this year.
Yeah, very spread out, which is weird because there's
compared to like week 7 and 10.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's another NFC East opponent that we're going to talk about that it's like one game in between them, and that's it. So it's like this is definitely a huge spread. And there's a huge spread also with another one as well that we're going to go over next after this. Huge differences in the Commanders, guys. Same as last year. Let's be honest. Last year, they were the surprise team of the NFL, basically. You could probably say them and the Vikings were probably the 2 biggest surprises in the NFC.
That's fair.
Now, they went ahead and made a whole bunch of changes, though. The Commanders added Deebo Samuel, the wide receiver / running back. I think he's just the wide receiver. Probably the most appropriate way of naming him.
Yes.
He got added. Michael Gallup, the former Cowboy, got added. Laremy Tunsil got traded to them from the Texans, one of the best offensive tackles in all of football, along with using their first-round pick on Josh Connerly, the tackle from Oregon. So they've really done a lot on their tackle positions, also wide receivers, giving more weapons at that point to Jaden Daniels there. So obviously had a great first year, let's be honest in that. We fully expect him to be somebody we hate playing year in, year out, basically for years to come. Unless they RG3 him. Unless they RG3 him. You never know.
Yeah, it definitely is a possibility.
Let's be honest. Going into year 2 of RG3, we would have said the same thing.
Well, 100%. Oh,
I mean, granted, he does have the injury RG3 had at the end of year 1, but
I was going to say we watched RG3 get beat up in the playoffs.
Yeah. But Jaden Daniels is like 140 pounds soaking wet. Therefore, I mean, it's like he just looks smaller than what they say he is.
Is there a statue of Jaden Daniels outside of FedEx Field?
Not yet. I think they've learned against that. Plus, they're getting rid of FedEx Field apparently soon. They're trying to, at least. I heard they're trying to get a new one on the old RFK Stadium site there, which is good for them because that FedEx Field is a joke. And that's we play in the Vanilla Dome, meaning like it has nothing to it whatsoever.
Well, listen, at least we don't sit fans behind the columns.
Yes, and we have working plumbing.
Yeah, touche.
Working plumbing is a very big thing. Anyway, also added at defensive tackle, Javon Kinlaw and Eddie Goldman. At corner, now this was a last year move, but we haven't really seen them since this move. Marshon Lattimore, the former Saint, is now a commander. Jonathan Jones, former Patriot, is also a commander as well. The big loss they had this offseason was Jonathan Allen, the defensive tackle that was been there since it feels like since the dawn of time there. But he's gone. But obviously, again, Kinlaw and Goldman, I'm not going to say that either one of them are as good as Allen is, but it's not a horrible replacement. You could do a whole lot worse replacement-wise there. So, on paper, this team looks better.
A lot better.
Now, I do think some of what happened to them last year was them getting hot at the right time. You know what I mean? Like, towards the end of the season, they got hot, and they did some things in the playoffs and made some noise. I think that was, again, hot at the right time. I don't think they're an elite team, but they're an above-average team. That's for damn sure. And just based on what they did last year, you'd have to say the Giants are not as good a team as the Commanders. And it's rare because that's like the one team in the NFC East we used to be able to say for years we were better than.
Yeah, not so much anymore.
Yeah. Got a quarterback now. So, listen.
A really good one.
Anything can happen. I feel like anything can happen with the Commanders, and I would not be shocked. Because even last year, we played close against them. So I'm not going to sit there and say they're going to crush us or anything crazy like that. We could lose both games. We could split the series. We could win both games. Nothing would shock me. Because we do tend to play the Commanders very well. The Commanders are a better team. All three options are on the table there, guys. I don't know where to go. We're going to do the schedule. Yeah, we're going to do a schedule prediction later on. So we're going to have to not cop out. But I think it's hard to really judge what's going to go on with that. That's one of those, potluck really you don't know. So, week 2, we go back to the NFC East well here. We go to Dallas.
The deep well.
Or should I say we go to Arlington?
Arlington.
Because we get mocked for not playing in New York, actually. Yeah. What now, Arlington Cowboys? So, we don't play the Cowboys again until week 18, guys. So you're talking week 2 all the way to week 18 for the Giants to play the Cowboys. That's a huge spread as well. So it's a little weird how the schedule is working here. The first 2 weeks, NFC East opponents that we don't see again until week 15 and 18.
It feels like the past 5 to 10 years, it's always Dallas week 1, play them again week 12 or 14.
Yeah.
You play the Commanders like anywhere between week 5 to 9, and then once again like week 12, and then Philly. I feel like it's very similar this year, but it's usually like, hey, we forgot to put you on the schedule.
Yeah,
there you are.
Oops, we forgot we got to do a second meeting here somewhere.
Yeah,
guys, Dallas did not have a good offseason. They did not have a good offseason at all. We said that last year as well. They added Javonte Williams, the running back. They added Tyler Booker, the rookie guard. We said was probably the best guard in the entire draft. At least the guy who person who played guard in college. I'll word it that way. They also added George Pickens, the wide receiver, recently to trade with the Steelers as well. They lost Rico Dowdle, Zack Martin, the longtime guard. That put it this way. He was the same draft class as OBJ, so that just tells you how long he was with the Cowboys. He retired. Chauncey Golston left them as well. Where'd he go? Oh, yeah, to the Giants. Haha, stole from the longtime Giant DeMarcus Lawrence also left this offseason as well. So did Jordan Lewis, the nickelback, there as well. So look at this photograph. So look at it. It's
Look at this photograph.
Every time I do, it makes me laugh.
My eyes get so red. What the hell's on Drew's head?
Listen, this is how I remind you to stay on topic. Okay, let's get anyway. Again, a second season in a row, they've lost a lot of people, specifically on defense. And, the defense obviously took a step back last year. The whole team took a step back last year. But you can also sit there and say they also had a huge step back to the injury report, basically, what happened. A lot of players injured, but now you lost even more players. They added George Pickens, just desperate to get a second wide receiver. George Pickens, let me put this way, guys. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The Steelers don't give up on wide receivers. They just know when to move on. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know, okay, this is where the headache's grown to the point where it's not worth the reward. It's time to go. Like, they've done that with 3 or 4 receivers, it feels like, in the last 10 years that were really good.
I was going to say,
Pickens
some
is definitely one
pretty
of them.
legit ones.
Like, we didn't even realize how crazy Antonio Brown was to left the Steelers.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
Listen, he was a whole bunch of Coca-Cola with some Pop Rocks mixed in there, some Mentos, and Mike Tomlin kept that from going into the cap. Yeah. But as soon as he left,
yeah. Or, of course, you got Chase Claypool they moved on from a couple years ago. So Chase Claypool got moved on from last year. He literally played for 2 teams and had 77 yards after averaging over 850 yards a season for the first 2 years with the Steelers.
Where did he go? He went to Kansas City, right? And then he went to...
he went to Pittsburgh, then Pittsburgh. Went to the Bears, then he went to Miami this last offseason. So, yeah, and I don't even know where he's at this year, to be honest with you. He's got a Bills jersey on, so I'm guessing he's a Bill now.
Look at that.
Yeah, so, yeah, he's a Bill now, I guess. But anyway, like I said, Deontay Johnson, if they traded him to the Panthers, I mean, they don't move on from players unless they're ready to move on because they're just not worth the headache anymore. So I don't think that was the best pickup per se. I was a little shocked they didn't draft somebody at wide receiver. But we talked about it leading up to the draft. It wasn't a great draft for wide receivers, guys. Really wasn't. It's weird because we've had great drafts the last couple of years for wide receivers. I feel like since we started doing the show and scouting players now, this is now 3 years of scouting for the draft for the show. And this is by far the worst one for wide receivers.
Yeah.
Like, not even a close second.
There was a lot of Robins in this draft. I don't really say a lot of Robins.
There wasn't even Robins. There was like Commissioner Gordon's, I feel like, more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I really don't think it's going to be a good class for them. So, like I said, they definitely lost some. But it's still, again, part of the problem I run into when I do this, and like looking at like, going, okay, are we better? Can we beat them? Is you got to look at what we've done the last couple of years, guys. It's hard for me to sit there and be confident with any team at this point. But this is a much better Giant team. I feel like this is the year that we might be able to finally end the streak of looking pathetic against the Cowboys. Because the Cowboys have gotten a whole lot worse. We've gotten better. Obviously our pass rush is going to be freaking awesome this year, assuming everybody stays healthy. Got Russell Wilson, so we got an actual quarterback. I see Jay in the comments section. He hates him. But listen, Russell Wilson is a massive upgrade over Daniel Jones, guys. If you don't think that, it's time to put the bottle down.
Yeah.
It's not saying much. I feel like I might be a massive upgrade over Daniel Jones at this point.
I was about to say, at least you got the youth and the want. But Russell, I'd say Russell, he had to go through a lot of changes in his career. That's right. Listen, he went to the Broncos, and it came out. It did not sound good for Wilson
honestly, Russell Wilson did not look bad that second year in Denver until they went to sit him.
Exactly. That's what I'm about to say. He himself, I think, grew as a player and as a person. Because I feel like going to the Super Bowl a couple times with the Seahawks, he got a thing in his head. It sounded like he had a PR person that said, "Let me talk to everyone for you guys." No, you guys, but for him, goes to the Broncos, has his own person, his people talk to everyone else for him, and then gets humbled by looking pathetic, if you will.
Yep. And we only have on a 1-year deal, so it's not like he can outwear his welcome, really. So
yeah. Well, when he comes over here, when he came over here, his big thing was talking about coaching younger, helping out with training.
Listen, he will always say the right thing in front of the media. It's what he does behind closed doors.
Touche.
I said, I've never played with the guy. I'm not trying to say like I know him personally. I'm not trying to call him a friend of the show and name drop like Jay accuses of stuff all the time. But
you name dropping.
I didn't. I'm saying we don't know him. And that's the whole point, is that he's very well trained in what he says in front of the media. And I don't know I think he's completely different behind closed doors. He just, to me, always has come off as very fake in front of the media, which is fine. It's not necessarily, I'm not trying to say he's a jerk behind closed doors. What I'm saying, he's very calculated in how he says and reacts in front of media. And it's almost like, I'm going to use this analogy, and I hate to be the jerk when I say it this way because it's going to come off like a jerk for a minute. So bear with me while I use the analogy. It's like Tiger Woods. Did you ever think Tiger Woods would be partying it up and sleeping around in Las Vegas?
I had no idea that guy was hitting 18 holes before he went golfing.
Because this is how he was. He was very calculated in how he was in front of the media. I feel like Russell Wilson's the same way. I don't think he's wild and having orgies in Las Vegas. I'm not trying to say that, but like we have no clue who he really is. No clue. And if you think you do, then you must know somebody who knows him or know him personally, because or you're just insane, because we have no clue. So that's all there is to it. But that being said, again, huge upgrade at QB. This could be the year. This literally could be the year that the Giants finally end their streak of looking pathetic against the Cowboys, because the Cowboys are not the same team. They're not.
I think so.
I really think this is that year. So, week 3, September 21st versus the Chiefs, Sunday Night Football. In the annual primetime game, we get our asses handed to us.
Wop.
But I say that though, but here's what's going to happen is you have the Giants, a team that consistently loses close games, against the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that consistently wins in close games. So it'll be probably a close game. But I just don't think of this that we're going to have a chance to win this. But I will say this, if you want to beat Mahomes, the secret to beating Mahomes is the same as the secret to beat any quarterback. Hit him.
Pressure. Put it on.
Under pressure.
Coming down on me. Freddie Mercury's in my face.
But we got the guys to do it now. Like if Carter, Thibodeau, and Burns and Dexter Lawrence and all these guys are healthy, Alexander, Golston, all these guys, you could go ahead and send everything cool to the kitchen sink and really mess with them. And I do think his offensive line is not going to be as good as it's been in years past. Obviously Joe Tooney's gone now as well. He went to the Bears. We'll see him later on in the year when we play the Bears. But it's not the same line. That's what killed him in the Super Bowl, is there were so many injuries and so many issues with that offensive line that Mahomes started hearing footsteps. The Eagles beat the Chiefs the same way the Bucks did, the same way we beat Brady the couple times we played Brady at that point. You keep on hitting the quarterback, and eventually you're going to mess everything up because he doesn't know his timing. He's tired of getting hit. He's not feeling like, that's what you got to do.
He starts forcing plays. That's not going to happen. Then he throws interceptions. So, yeah.
What you got to do. So, but listen, as long as they have Patrick Mahomes, though, you got to say that they're going to be the favorite to win that game.
You have to.
No, yeah, you got to. Week 4, September 28th, we stay in the AFC West here, playing the Los Angeles Chargers. So I still want to call them the San Diego Chargers. I still want to call them the San Diego. I feel like that's a sign of getting old when you want to use the old name of the city for a team when you play them when they've moved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, kind of like, people back in the day, saying the New Orleans Jazz before they moved to Utah, like that kind of thing. Reminds me of like basketball. Remember the opening scene of basketball?
Yeah. And then they
The
move over here to
Minneapolis
there, and
Lakers.
it's anywhere. And then we're in 347 games in this season.
I'm saying the Minneapolis Lakers move from Minneapolis, the land of the lakes, to Los Angeles, where there are no lakes. The New Orleans Jazz move to Utah, where they don't allow music. That's such a good movie. Basketball. The guys from South Park. If anybody's never seen it. Anyways, we go on.
I'll be
another
watching that
rant
later.
The Chargers. Second year of the Harbaugh era, guys. The team was much improved last year. I'm not going to say they were an elite team by any means, but they were above average. They had much better coaching. Rob and I have been complaining since we started the show about the coaching for the Chargers. Just too many risks, too many analytics moves that just point blank just didn't make sense at times, guys. Over analytics, basically, like way too much of it. Harbaugh, the old school guy, is going to build up the defense. He's going to run the ball down your throat, and then he's going to go ahead and make clutch plays in the air at that point. That's what you do to win.
He played completely different than what we expected from the Chargers. Chargers, like you said, calculated. They sat there.
It played completely what I expected, but completely different than your prior Chargers team.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, 2 seasons ago, you look at the Chargers, they're like, why would we go for a field goal when there's 47% chance we might get a 2-point conversion in this play, and then we'll be up by 3 points by doing this. When you just go for the extra point, and then guess what? You don't have to worry about a tie game later or losing the game because you have a tie game. But whatever. Harbaugh goes in there, does what he does, and just runs like you have Herbert, who could throw the ball down the field.
Yep.
Everyone's expecting it from him. What does he do? Run off the middle.
Yeah. To me, Brandon Staley was there too long. He's only there 3 years, but he was there way too long. He just wasn't a good coach. Harbaugh is a good coach. Now, Harbaugh's also a coach, though, that has a timeline, meaning like people will get tired of his messaging. So, I think that you're going to get the you're going to get the change up here this year to being kind of like whatever their peak is going to become, basically, because Harbaugh has like a 4 or 5 year stretch and that's it, and then people just want to kill him and strangle him. Like he's too in your face, basically, and that works great in college. Doesn't work so great with grown men. And that's why, if it wasn't for his antics in Michigan, I'll put it nicely, he probably would have been a Michigan coach for life, basically. But again, I think you'll see a better and more improved. Again, they're above average. They're not elite. They're not unbeatable. But on paper, you would have to sit there and say that they are the better team. Like, it's not an easy win. Like, that's not something you go, we should get that one. Like, we may. But to say we should be a little insane.
It's probably going to be more of a boring game. You're probably going to look at a defensive battle.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think you'll see a whole bunch of running on both sides in that. But the Chargers also, they got a little bit of weak in the secondary as well. So, we'll see what happens there. But like I said, that's not an easy game. That's for sure. On to games that should be easy. Week 5, October 5th, at the New Orleans Saints. Now, this is the game I want to go to. I'm hoping to go to that game this year because that's the closest game to my home here in down Tampa Bay. So it's a quick flight. I actually looked it up today. It's like $300 a person for flight and airfare, and then whatever the tickets cost. The tickets are usually $60 for the Saints. They're not expensive, so that's not too shabby. If I can do it for under $500 here for the weekend, that's not too bad.
Not too shabby.
A good time to bring up buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
Buy me a plane ticket from Jersey.
But yeah, guys, listen. If you didn't hear the news. Derek Carr did just recently retire with the New Orleans Saints. I don't think the Saints were surprised by this. I'm sure the conversations were had beforehand, but he did retire officially. Had a shoulder issue and had to sit out the whole year. He's been 12 years in the league already. He's had other injuries he's been fighting, so at that point he just hung up his cleats. Interestingly enough, I think the last game he played was against the Giants last year. That's when he got hurt.
Yeah.
So technically, we ended his career.
That's not that funny.
No, Yeah, way to laugh, you jerk. Womp. Anyway, they quite possibly, guys, have the worst quarterback room in the entire NFL. Depending on what's going on with the Steelers and what they do with Rodgers. That's the one caveat I'll give that. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I can't think of a worse quarterback room right now.
No.
Right?
They got Riddler over there.
Guys, I say that not to embarrass the Saints, but I say that to congratulate ourselves on not holding that title finally. Like, seriously. You got Tyler Shuck, who they drafted this year, who, again, is like 26 years old, rookie that needs a whole lot of work and has had tons of injury issues. Spencer Rattler, who got some time to start last year, didn't necessarily do much with it. Jake Hanner, the kid, remember this the kid of 2 years ago, they drafted him in like the 4th round, and he was mostly known for his rookie photographs. I'll put it that way. They're a little weird, the way he was posing.
Yeah.
He was trying to pose in some very odd ways. I'll put it that way. I don't know how to describe it exactly. But yeah, they were a bit peculiar, that's for sure. They also have a guy named Hunter Deckers, who went to college at Iowa Western Community, according to ESPN. So I never heard of the kid. I guess he got signed, it looks like, after the rookie camp. So yeah, that's as Jay's on Jake, he said, in Fresno State. He's small. His mom is hot news lady here in California. Wait a minute. Don't make us start doing this. We're doing it now. Jake, happy. Or Haener, or Haener. I forget how to pronounce his name. I used to know when he came out of the draft. Let's see. His mom. Okay. I don't know if I go that far. If you're into like the, librarian look or something like that, maybe. I haven't seen her on videos here, but not a bad looking woman. He's making it seem like she's like OnlyFans. Anyway.
OnlyFans is all about your niche.
As Jay is like totally getting distracted here. But this is a game that the Giants should win, guys. Point blank. Absolutely should win. And if the Giants don't win, goddamn, it's going to be a long season. Like, there's not a lot of games that I go, this is the game we're going to win. Like, this is a really tough schedule on paper. Again, on paper. So, yeah, this is a game we should win, guys. Back to the NFC East here. Week 6, October 9th versus the Eagles here. That's our home one there. Then week 8, we played them again, October 26th at Philadelphia. A short little bus ride there. Eagles, again, a lot of changes there, as they have pretty much every year, it seems like, because of the craziness they do with their salary cap. They lost Kenneth Gainwell, the running back, Milton Williams, the defensive lineman, Josh Sweat, the longtime Eagle, is going off to the Arizona Cardinals, Isaiah Rodgers, the corner, C.J. Gardner-Johnson left the Eagles yet again. They added Jahad Campbell in the draft, which was a big favorite of Rob and I, so we're not too happy about that one. And Joshua Unk, the linebacker, formerly of the Patriots for a lot of years there. Also, 2 ex-Giants, Azeez Ojulari and Adoree Jackson, are now Eagles as well. So, listen.
Didn't mind that one.
This is the part that's going to hurt a little bit here, guys. It's going to hurt. The Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champions. They didn't do anything crazy in this offseason to make me go, oh, no, they're so much worse. Until proven otherwise, they are the team to beat. And we are not the team to be beating the teams to beat. Until proven otherwise. So I got to say, it's probably going to be another rough go against the Eagles this year, guys. I hate to say it, but probably a rough go. I hope I'm wrong. And I don't know, it's got to be like everything goes right kind of thing. Like the pass rusher is amazing. The pass rushing is amazing. The running back duo we now have is running the ball like crazy. The offensive line stays healthy. Russell Wilson plays like the Russell Wilson we think he can. Above average, not elite even. I'm not saying he's got to be that, but above average quarterback in this league. That's where you're at. You need like a perfect storm for us to potentially be a better team than the Eagles, along with everything being wrong for them. injuries like crazy, that kind of situation. Like, it's got to be that. So until otherwise, I got to say we're probably just going to goose egg against them twice.
Most
lose both times. So then we got sandwiched in between the Eagles here. Week 7, August. Oh my God, what the hell? I've been drinking too much tonight, apparently. Let's start again. Sandwiched in between the Eagles. Week 7, October 19th at the Broncos, which is just a little crazy. So it's like we play the Eagles at home, then go all the way to Denver, then go all the way back to play the Eagles again in Philadelphia. Now, for the record, also, they play in East Philadelphia, not West Philadelphia, where somebody was born and raised. But the Broncos is kind of an interesting mix because the Broncos played better last year. Broncos played definitely a lot of tight games.
They had one of the best defenses out there.
They did, and that's the key is, can that defense still be as good? And also, will Bo Nix be that much better? They added also our old friend Evan Ingram, the tight end. He's signed with the Broncos there off the Jaguars there after having a good stretch with them, including a Pro Bowl. So, listen, again, the defense notwithstanding, because you expect the defense to be really good, especially with the corners they have. But Bo Nix is going to be the determining factor in how the Denver Broncos season goes. If he plays good, they'll play good. If he plays, then not so much. But
I do like what Deb has to say there.
I was about to say, put her comment up because Deb just said it right there. Denver revenge game for Wilson. And yes,
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, if you don't think that is the game that Russell Wilson wants to throw like Drew Lock against the Colts, like he wants a 5-touchdown performance in that game.
Yeah. His career high.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's ride.
Especially do it in Denver.
Yeah.
Like that even means even more, I think. You go back there to do it, And listen, Denver's going to be an above-average team. Again, not an elite team, but above-average team.
And listen, I mean, they stuck in the playoffs last year. What did they seed 6?
Yeah, I think something like that.
Maybe 5. I think they might have snuck up to 5.
Sneaky.
That's Sneaky Pete.
Yeah.
Who is this sneaky
As
one?
Jay, of course, hating on Russell Wilson as always, says I think it's actually Denver who wants revenge against Russ, not the other way around. Listen.
It could be. Listen, Payne might want the same thing too.
I'm sorry, but Russell Wilson didn't bench Denver for half the season for contract reasons.
Yeah.
Just saying. But he was also not playing so bad. Like it wasn't like he was playing horribly. You had benched him season 1 with the Broncos. I would have understood more. That was a bad year for him. So yeah, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic play out there. It's a toss-up game for me. So, I can really see that game going either direction.
Yeah.
Week 9, we're finally done playing the Eagles there versus the 49ers there. So, listen, the 49ers probably had the worst offseason of any team in all of football. Like, absolutely insane. Here's who they lost. Javon Hargrave, defensive lineman. Corner, Shavarius Ward. Defensive end, Leonard Floyd. Linebacker, Dre Greenlaw. Corner, Isaac Edom. Left guard, Aaron Banks. Offensive tackle, Jalen Moore. Running back, Elijah Mitchell. And safety, whose name I'm going to mispronounce like I always do, Talana Hafunga. So, yeah, guys, that's a lot of people to lose. A lot of people on defense specifically there. Now they did gain, of course, their old defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. I think this is honestly going to be a rebuild year for them. Like I feel like that's what it's got to kind of be at this point there. Again, you lost. I forgot to include there Deebo Samuel. Obviously, he left for the Commanders as well. So. They come off a season where they were 6-11. Brock Purdy is going to have. This reminds me of. Am I crazy for saying this, Rob? Tell me if I'm crazy. But I'm crazy in general. I don't know that part.
You're crazy.
Brock Purdy. This situation reminds me of Mark Sanchez. I remember the Jets did really good the first couple years of Mark Sanchez. eventually they kind of left some of the wide receivers and the offensive line, and Thomas Jones, a running back, left and all that stuff. And it was more and more put on Mark Sanchez, and he just absolutely fell apart. This is kind of what this situation reminds me of.
A little bit. I see where you come from.
Like,
The
he's
defense
losing the help around him he has, and I don't know if he's good enough to do it by himself with that.
Yeah, and the defense also was stellar when Sanchez started, and it started slipping.
Yeah.
They lost some of the coaching for the, Rex gave up the defensive coordinator position as head coach. And
like I said, I just feel like he lost a lot of what's helping him. And now you go into this year where he's got, 29-year-old Christian McCaffrey, who is, again, he's getting close to 30. Had some injury issues when he played 4 games last year.
I was going to say, he's been injured more than he has not been in the season. When he's healthy, he comes solid. Listen, look what he did 2 years ago. Everyone said that he was going to be a bust because of injury, and becomes the best running back in NFL.
I mean,
2 years ago,
good back-to-back years. His 23 and 22 both weren't bad.
Yeah, sorry, 22.
But then his 20 and 21, he played 10 games combined. Like I said, I just don't know what to think about him this year. And I think he's going to be the difference maker on this 49er team.
100%. When he's healthy, he's a game changer.
Yeah. But it's also otherwise, who's your weapons? George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk?
Well, Kittle's not playing. He's definitely been downhill. And Ayuk,
no. Kittle was good last year.
He was good, but he wasn't Kittle what he was 2-3 years prior.
No. When we played him, because when we played him, because that was early in the year, that was the bad part. He had a second best year though for yards last year. He just had a rough start to the season. He got much better. He got hot later on. He has 78 catches, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. And he's still a damn good blocker. Like I said, when we played them, because we played them, what was it, week 4?
I was going to say 4 or 5.
I forget but we played them early on, if I remember right.
It had 3 or 4.
I gotta look it up now. Or was it the year before we played them? Whatever it was, the year we played them. This has been a long night already. Yeah, no, we're going back now to 23 when we played them. Remember that was the story they were saying back then in 23. That year he had still had over 1,000 yards. I just feel like Kittle's that player that never gets the respect he deserves. Honestly, he doesn't. He is 7,380 yards right now in the NFL. Like 45 touchdowns. This guy is I'm telling you, like, he is getting up there where if he keeps playing like he has been, he's going to be, one of the best tight ends ever. Point blank. Like, I'm looking right now to see where he's at as far as most for the career, and he's number 13 right now. If he has 1,000 yards, he's number 9 this season. He has another 1,000 yards after that. He's going to be number 7. Another one after that, he'll be in top 5. He needs 3 more years, which would put him at 34. So that's possible.
Yeah,
depends on how long he plays. Like, he's not going to be Kelsey, Gates, Witten, Gonzalez. He's not going to be that round. But he's still one of the best tight ends ever to play this game if he can stay healthy long enough to continue what he's been doing there. So, like I said, I just think that's where we're at. Is those are the 2 guys, Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle, that they're going to be counting on if Christian McCaffrey can't stay healthy. And you have so much turnover on defense, it's not even funny. Hafunga, we talked about him being gone. Well, guess who they got to replace him? Pinnock, our old safety. Not the same caliber. This is not like the Eagles. And again, I hate to give the Eagles credit, but the Eagles kept drafting people knowing what they were going to lose. And they built for knowing not what they need this year, but what they'll need next year. Again, I hate to say it, but that's smart. The Niners didn't do that. So this could be a year of rebuild for them, where the Giants could very well beat them. Could very well beat them this year. So week 10. We're going to talk about that next after we paid the bills. Oh.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
Alrighty, guys. And of course, as always, you can support the show by doing super chats there on YouTube, stars on Facebook, which I saw that Jay put a comment there about where'd it go here? He put a comment about where'd it go? So far along ago. He said, I went on your Facebook to give stars. Is that Rob holding that pumpkin? Yes, it was Rob holding that pumpkin. That was like our first year, I think, of doing the show, even. If I remember correctly. I think you posted that actually when I was at the Jags game, when the Giants were playing the Jags that year.
I believe so.
My memory is somewhat iffy, but usually it's somewhat decent at times. But yeah, of course, like I said, you can support the show that way. You can do the freeway by doing the like, the share, the subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff there, guys. Or, of course, you can also go onto our store if you want to go ahead and get some of the merchandise there, cups, candles, and, of course, as always, the towels. You can wipe your ass on the 2 Giant Goofballs. And just don't send us pictures.
Yes. Don't want the before nor the after.
We don't exactly. All right, let's get back in here. So week 10, November 9th at the Bears. You're looking at a huge difference here this offseason for them. And the fact they got former Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson now as their head coach. Now, Ben Johnson, I feel like he's been that guy that people have wanted to be a head coach for years. And I somehow get it and don't get it at the same point. I really do and don't at the same point. Like, you look at the how well the offense clicked for the Lions, how well Jared Goff looked as a Lion, and I go, okay, I get it, like, great. But then I look at the fact that for years he was offered positions and he kept dragging teams along, waiting to do it. My concern is that a lack of confidence in himself. I've said that the last couple of years as he's been looking at, like, does this guy himself lack confidence? Like, he needs a perfect scenario to go ahead and succeed. And then he takes this job of all jobs, which is far from a perfect scenario. So I can't quite get a read on him. Like, we don't deal with Ben Johnson enough for us to get that, Bears also revamped their offensive line pretty well here, getting guards Joe Thuney, obviously former Chief for many, many years. And also Jonah Jackson got former Falcon center, Drew Dahlman as well. So they've revamped their entire interior offensive line there. Keenan Allen is gone, obviously, as well, but that's not that huge of a loss really at that point there. Plus, they got Burden, their wide receiver from Missouri in the draft as well, to hopefully take his spot for them. The biggest thing really is Caleb Williams, guys. He showed glimpses last year. He also didn't nearly do what Jaden Daniels did. It's almost like 2 Giant Goofballs might have known that Jaden Daniels is the better quarterback. Oh, yeah, we said that in the draft.
We called that out big time, too.
Called that out big time, exactly. Listen, I'm not a huge fan of Caleb Williams as a player. I think he's overrated. I think he's been overrated for quite a long time. But I do think that he's not a horrible quarterback. Like, I want to be clear on that. We're not saying he's a scrub. We're not saying he's Ryan Leaf. We're not saying that kind of thing. What we're saying is he's not going to be the almighty game-breaking tight end that changes game-breaking quarterback that changes everything for this entire franchise. Like, I don't think he's that good.
No.
Now, will he put up some yards? Yes. Will he potentially be the first Bear quarterback to ever have 4,000 yards? There's very good potential on that. He'll put up some yards because they'll keep chucking the ball. But I think this is, like I said, a team that'll do better this year. I still don't think they're going to do great, though. I don't have a ton of confidence in the Bears until proven otherwise.
It's
coaching was definitely an issue. Don't get me wrong. Like, they have nowhere to go but up from the coaching they had.
Well, that's what they said last year. That's
well,
what
I was saying
the year
Eberflus
before.
was a horrible head coach.
That's what, but that's what the Bears have been saying for the past decade.
Well,
It's
they
like,
kept keeping the head coach for a couple of years, and he sucked.
For a couple of years, not the past decade.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So, the Bears, I don't know, until they change the complete organization like the Commanders did, I don't know if the Bears can get out of the Bears' way. So, that being said, the Bears typically play so-so. They usually come out week 1 hot, maybe sometimes 2 weeks hot. They go on a downfall, and they start playing mid-season. So, like, depending on the Giants playing, like, who knows how we're going to come out of this game, but this should be a win for the Giants.
It should be, and potentially a win. I want to say it that way. I'm not say should be a win, but should be potentially a win.
Especially because, like, the biggest downfall is out of the past 10 years where the Giants had the top 29, if you will, offensive line, Bears were one of the few teams that were typically below us.
Yeah.
Because of offensive line.
Yeah, but like I said, they've revamped a lot of that. You got to keep in mind, they went 5-12 last year, but they faced the Lions twice, the Vikings twice, and the Packers twice.
It's teams like they didn't play the Cowboys twice. They didn't play the.
It's different. Don't tell me the Cowboys, and the Eagles and the Commanders are as good as the Lions, the Vikings, and Packers. They weren't last year. The Commanders,
the Eagles won. The Commanders played them in an NFC Championship game.
But they didn't take off later on. They weren't the same team for the first half of the year.
Okay, so we play those teams later in the year, so that's cool.
No, we didn't. We played the Commanders early on.
And then we play them
early on both times. Both times. They weren't that great yet. Listen, the Lions had 15 wins. The Vikings had 14 wins. The Packers
the wins.
had 11
I'm talking
wins.
about playoffs.
I'm not talking playoffs. I'm talking about when they played them. They didn't play them in the playoffs. They played them in
I'm just saying, don't tell me they're not better when they couldn't beat the Commanders or the Eagles. I'm saying that the Commanders and the Eagles played an NFC Championship game.
I'm saying you're comparing teams that went 15 wins, 14 wins, and 11 wins with teams that went 14, 12, and 7.
Okay, and they played different teams, but guess where they win the playoffs?
Big difference in the record. We're gonna agree to disagree here.
We're gonna have to because we're not. That's not that big of a difference.
I think it's a massive difference. The third place team
not massive of a difference,
and the third place team was 7 wins.
Drew, tell me,
that's more than 1.5 the wins.
How far did the Lions get in the playoffs?
Were they had all the injuries?
Tell me how far the Vikings went in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not knocking that, but they didn't play them. They played them in the regular season, not in the playoffs. When those teams went 40 wins between those 3 teams. When every other team in your division averages over 13 wins. That's insane.
It is
absolutely insane. That's what I'm saying. They had a tougher division than we did. That was probably the toughest division in all of football last year. I'm not saying the NFC East was bad. I'm not saying it was a pile of poop.
You made it sound like a little bit.
I'm just saying that is a tougher division last year. It is. As Jay says, we're as dysfunctional as the Giants. No, we're not. We are not. The Giants are much more dysfunctional. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Like I said, it should be a winnable game.
We'll report that later.
Next NFC North game we got. Week 11, the next week there, versus the Packers. And listen, guys, the Packers are the Packers. And what I mean by that is they've been what they've been for a long time now. They are an above-average team. They are sometimes elite, sometimes not, but they're always at least above average. They've been that way for 30 years now. I don't think this is an elite team still. I don't. I mean, Rob, you know the Packers better than I do. You're dating a Packer fan.
She is a cheesehead. There's too much Swiss up in there. But listen, I mean, I've watched the Packers. Like, I have family that's from the Wisconsin area who are some cheeseheads.
Well, that's in a blue.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you're not wrong for saying for the past 30 years they've been.
There's been ups and downs, but their downs are above average.
I was about to say their downs is an average season.
Yeah. Oh no, they only had 9
like
wins.
That's their worst season they've had is an average season, and like they want to like raise hell over it. So and they've won Super Bowls in 30 years, so like you can't knock that either. So like that's an elite team.
Yeah,
and just like what you're saying, Drew, I
they've had 5 losing seasons since 1992, guys. I was in 4th grade in 92. That's like the start of the Brett Favre era, obviously. That's why they're going that route. That's crazy. And, you know, they had 17, 18, and 5 and 8. I mean, it's been 4 seasons. That's it.
A lot of playoff appearances.
Or 5 seasons. Sorry, they only listed 4 for some reason here. Stupid Google AI response. But, you know, again, that's just where they're at that point there. You know, it's like, I don't know what to think about them fully still. And, you know, like Jay asked here, how do you feel about Jordan Love? Like, is it fair to say he's like the NFC version of, you know, Justin Herbert? Like, he's really good, and you keep thinking he's going to take that turn, but he doesn't quite take that turn to be elite.
So the thing you also have to remember too is like, so last year, the year prior, they had the youngest team in the NFL.
Yes.
So they had that many rookies on there. So like, there's some potential to be a big upswing with this team, but there's also that potential where it doesn't pan out and it just kind of sits there where it's at.
And you mentioned the wide receiver thing about the whole Batman and Robin. You know, like look at like their wide receiver group. They have like Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl. Like there's no Batman, but like everybody else in the Bat family is
they wanted Watson to be number one. They wanted
Tim
Dobbs
Drake
to be number one.
Like all the Robins are there.
Yeah,
you know,
whatever part of the Bat family want to go down.
All three Robins are there. Dick Grayson, Tim Drake. Whoever the kid,
4 of them, aren't there?
Well, is it 4? I don't know. There's the new one is Damien now, who is Ra's al Ghul's daughter's son that Batman had with her.
Yeah.
So, or Ra's al Ghul. Maybe you want to get in that fight. We're not going to get. Let's not get the comic fight. Jay will accuse me of being the guy from The Simpsons in the comic book store again.
It's Raj.
It said both. It's Ra's al Ghul in the Batman animated series, which people of our generation grew up with that, and that's how a lot of us learned about the Batman, you know, mythos.
And Batman Begins.
Nope, it's Rage in that one. It's Rage because that's how people that are actually involved in creating the comics said it's supposed to be pronounced. It's Ra's al Ghul.
Oh.
But the Batman the animated series said Raj, so therefore most of us will say Raj that grew up in that generation because you know that's what we grew up watching. Anyway. As we stop with the Batman stuff here, but that's what I feel like. There's a ton of Robins there. They don't have an elite receiver for them. They have 4 or 5 good receivers. They have a couple of good tight ends. There's no like star player for Jordan Love to throw to. He's missing that main target, and he hasn't quite turned that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he has the potential to make that turn, just like you said. He's got that Herbert syndrome. Like it's like he's right there, and especially like his rookie year. Like you watch him 1 week and he throws 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Then you look the next week, he throws for 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and it's back and forth like that nonstop.
Yeah.
I know that for sure because he was one of my fantasy quarterbacks.
Jason, this is a great relationship. Some $5 super chats that I can tease and taunt all I want. Dude, you can tease and taunt no matter what. Don't get it wrong. We appreciate the super chats, but you don't even got to do that. I don't care. You can tease and taunt all you want, man. It's all good. We thick skin. It's also, and he's not wrong. Matt LaFleur is the star. I mean, let's be honest. Since he got there as the head coach, that the team has kind of risen to the next level at that point, at the very end of the Aaron Rodgers era, and now with the beginning now of the Jordan Love era. Jordan Love is somebody I feel like I can't quite get my finger around like what I think of him. And I think he's going to come to a point where he's going to have to take a turn. Pro or con, he's going to have to take a turn. Like, is he an above average quarterback and that's it? A guy you can't win with, you can't win a ring with probably, but a guy you can at least get in the playoffs with? Or is he going to turn a corner and become an elite quarterback?
I don't know if he's going to be the elite quarterback, but like I think he teeters between above average and elite. Like,
yeah, week to week. That's the thing. Week to week, even.
Yeah, and that's been his MO from the get go.
That's the whole thing. It's crazy. Like I said, and I know some people don't like the analogy, some people aren't. But Justin Herbert, he's the NFC Justin Herbert, because Justin Herbert, for all the respect and love he gets by people, what has he done? Resume's missing for the hype he gets. And watch, I say that he's going to put like 500 yards unless we play him that year.
It's going to say 550 yards, 8 touchdowns, put up a new NFL record.
Something tells me he's not watching the show. We'll be fine. Week 12.
He's going to be watching the show. He's playing us, the Goofballs.
Week 12, guys. We got another NFC North team, guys. We're going to have 4 games in 5 weeks against the NFC North opponents. That's what I'm saying. This is a rough schedule, guys. Week 12, November 23rd, at the Lions. And yeah, that's, like I said, that's not a game I want to see. Now, there are some people, point blank, that are saying not to worry too much about the Lions this year to a certain degree. They lost Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator. They lost Aaron Glenn, their defensive coordinator. I still think it's Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell gets that room excited.
Yeah, like
6 minutes excited.
I got a lot of faith in the man. I really do. And, we talked about him when we first started this show, about him coming over to the Lions and the fire he's going to bring, and it's going to be a good hire for them. He is going to be, I think, keeping this team going. I really do. And I'm not too worried about that part of it. Now, is there a chance? Of course there's a chance. Anytime you have a change, things can happen. I do think people are also underestimating the fact that the entire defense was basically injured. That's a huge thing right there. I also, spoiler alert, I don't think Aaron Glenn's a great defensive coordinator. Just being honest, I don't.
Well,
I think it's an appropriate hire for the Jets because they suck. But saying, I think he's not that good. I don't think that's the loss. I think Ben Johnson is the thing. Can you move on from Ben Johnson? And can you go ahead and do what you got to do in offense and not have things go crazy? Now, obviously, the Bears can rely a little bit on Dan Campbell. He was an offensive guy, obviously. I don't know. That's the one thing of me is going to be going, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't even on the roster. Their new offensive coordinator was the passing game coordinator for the Broncos the last couple of years, John Morton. Now, you could also sit there and say, and we've talked about this Davis Webb before, who's been the quarterback coach the last couple of years for the Broncos as well. Russell Wilson had a lot better year the second year. Davis Webb had a great year, obviously, with the Broncos last year. How much was that was John Morton? John Morton obviously comes also, from the Sean Payton tree as well, who's obviously a very good offensive mind. So, maybe it's not a bad hire. I don't know. But this is the variable. But I have to assume that they're going to be the Lions that they've been the last couple of years, and that means that the Lions will probably beat the Giants.
Yeah, sadly. I mean,
so
they beat us up in offseason 3 years ago when Dan Campbell took over.
Yeah, that was actually the first road win the Lions had in like 3 seasons or something crazy like that. I forget what it was.
Yeah,
it was bad. And that was Aiden Hutchinson. I remember had a good year. That was his rookie year. He had a really good game that year. Game that day too. So let's get into better games that we have a chance to win here, guys. Week 13, December 1st, at the Patriots. Monday Night Football. Guys, this is the game. This is the one we break the streak of losing primetime games. but it's not a given. I mean, Drake May looked pretty good.
But
in year
Drake
one.
May really stepped up last year.
He did. I think he kind of shocked some people, looked better than people expected. It's kind of sad when you can sit there and say Caleb Williams might have been the third best rookie quarterback, drafted first overall. Like, you could make the case that Drake May look better.
I think you really can. I think
like I said, I'm not going to see either one. I see both pros and cons for both there, guys. But that's where I'm at with that. And how Drake May plays in year two is going to fully determine how the Patriots go. The Patriots spent a lot of money this offseason. They spent more than anybody else. They got a whole lot of above average players. They didn't get anybody elite. The ones that they got like massive names, but they got a whole lot of solid, good players. Probably overpaid for them a little bit, but that's what free agency is about. So, it's not as bad a team as it was last year, but it's still not a great team. But this is all going to depend on what they can do with Drake May in year two. 100%.
Yeah.
So, again, hard game to call because of that.
It is. It's not just Drake May. It's just you in it the Belichick era the year prior. You have Mayo in there, and they were supposed to be like still decent, and they just fell on their face being a terrible team.
Yeah.
You pick up Drake May, who came in towards the end of the season and looked good. So it's like, is it the coach staff? Is it May? Like, there's a lot to be said.
Yep.
Is it going to be the Patriots of like what the 70s and 80s where they couldn't win
4
games, 5 games a year? Is that what's about to start, or is it like
back in those red jerseys?
Yeah, are they going to rebuild that dynasty?
Probably somewhere in the middle. Not as good as the old dynasty was, not as bad as they were back then.
Probably.
You're talking historically good and historically bad.
Oh, they were so bad.
They were so bad back then. Like I said, but this is a game on paper the Giants should win. I'd like to see the Giants actually win a primetime game for once. It's been a long time, So should be hopefully a fun one then. Then we got a bye week. Week 14 is our bye week. We're waiting for the season almost to be over before we get a bye week. Like, we come back for 2 games. Seriously? It's like not having a bye week, basically.
Well, 5. 3 weeks. But yeah.
December 21st, week 16. Oh, yeah, we have 3 weeks. I forgot we had the Cowboys still week 18. So, yeah, three games after the bye week. So, week 16, December 21st versus the Vikings. We get the Vikings 2 years in a row. Obviously, they walloped us week 1. We kind of were really down and about that, but obviously realized later on the Vikings weren't that bad. They had a really good regular season there, 14-13. I was 14-3. So you can't really sit there and say that it was an embarrassing loss, but we were a little embarrassed at the times. We didn't realize how good the Vikings were going to be that year. This year, everything's all going to change here potentially. Sam Darnold's obviously gone to Seattle. J.J. McCarthy, the rookie quarterback, I guess he's still considered a rookie. He didn't play last year. Preseason doesn't count. He could be rookie of the year and comeback player of the year.
That's
like, is that possible? Is that even an option? I don't even know. That'd be the weirdest thing ever.
I have to read the bylaws.
I just thought of that. You have the bylaws handy. Let us know. But yeah, that's the possibility there. Listen, we're not JJ McCarthy fans. We never have been. But when you're got that line blocking for you, you have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and Aaron Jones running the ball.
Kind of hard not to be good.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, yeah, that's going to help him. Now, how healthy he's going to be, though. There was all kinds of rumors about him having issues healing and having to go to multiple surgeries and that kind of stuff there. I just think that's where you'll run into the question mark there. Defense with Brian Flores still going to be very good. Obviously, you got to think at that point there. I think their season's going to hinge 100% on J.J. McCarthy. I got to think that because of the weapons around, he's going to look decent. We weren't a fan of him coming out. He's a rookie quarterback. I don't know what to think overall. They really don't have a backup plan. So I'm going to say there's a chance, but it all depends on the quarterback play.
Yeah, especially because we're playing him so late in the year. Like, they're probably going to figure out by then. And
that's the thing. I'd rather have them early.
And the Vikings have been pretty good the past couple of years of picking up okay quarterbacks and making them look good.
Yeah.
Like
When you got those weapons around, of course you will.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like
set up.
I'm saying like we talked about Joshua Dobbs, and it's like how great did he look his first 5 seasons in the NFL, and he comes over to the Vikings, and you're like,
well, he looked good in Arizona before the Vikings traded for him. In all fairness,
I'm gonna say he looked good.
He looked good for Josh Dobbs.
Serviceable.
He looked good for Josh Dobbs.
Which is serviceable.
Yes, I'm saying.
But he looked good.
I don't know if he looked good. He looked serviceable.
As a Viking, he looked good. He was throwing multiple. He was throwing 3 touchdowns a game, 300 yards.
Again, I gotta look at who he's got playing with him, and that's what it is.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
So, plus Kevin O'Connell's really not obviously a very bad head coach. He's one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, they say. So, we'll see. But JJ McCarthy will basically hinge that decision on whether or not we're going to win that game, probably.
Yeah.
Week 17. This was the worst schedule mistake of the entire schedule for the Giants, guys. At the Raiders. Listen, guys, week 17. If things do not go very well, which again, look at this schedule, we're probably not going to be a great team. If things do not go well, week 17, you would expect to see Jackson Dart potentially play quarterback at this point. Well, that ruins the whole Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson thing, doesn't it?
Big time.
Now, there was rumors this was going to be the opening game. I would have loved that. Absolutely would have loved that. Because this is the game that on paper we should win. But, it's a huge difference when you're looking at Russell Wilson going to play against Pete Carroll, his former coach. All kind of rumors that they're good now, but there was issues when Russell Wilson left. And it's not the same if he's on the bench with his helmet off, going to shake hands into the game, and that's it.
Yeah.
Not the same.
Just giving Pete Carroll the finger from the sidelines.
But you got Pete Carroll, you got Geno Smith there now. You got Ashton Genty, the rookie running back there. So it's a different Raider team, obviously, than it was
big time
last year. And Sneaky Pete, we have a lot of respect for Pete Carroll in the show, guys. A lot of respect for Pete Carroll. He's a real good coach. I don't care if he's like pushing 80 at this point. He's a good coach.
I don't care. Let that
got the energy of a 45-year-old.
Listen,
that man's more athletic than I am.
I watch a 3-year-old running around like Pete Carroll does on the sideline.
It's insanity
today.
Absolute insanity. But again, it's a game that on paper the Giants could win. But again, it kind of loses a lot of its flash and a lot of its interest for outside of the Giants and Raiders fans when you no longer have that Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll thing going. Now, if the Giants play a lot better than we expect and they're still pushing for a potential playoff spot, then you're going to keep Russell Wilson in there, assuming he's playing well, and that's going to change up how you look at that game.
Yeah.
But that should have been earlier on, just to keep that portion of it going. That would have been a great storyline. So, shame on you, NFL.
Does he get flexed?
Yeah. And then with that, again, last game was the Cowboys week 18. That's our season. So, real quick, guys, before we go, we're going to do a real quick win-loss thing with Rob and me here. Feel free to put what you think in the comments section as well. We're just going to go quick down here. What game we're going to win, what game we're going to lose, and we're going to see where Rob and I think this goes here. And again, this is a schedule that just popped out 2.5 hours ago as we're recording this. So things will change. We'll probably at the end of training camp do another video that's kind of similar to that. But let's see where we end up. All right. First off, Commanders, home game.
You're going to keep
what do you got?
You're going to keep this record or no?
I'm writing it for us, yes.
All right. Week 1 loss.
Okay. I'm going to say we win. Ooh. Week 2, Cowboys.
I'm going to go with the win on this one.
I'm going to go with the loss. We don't play the Cowboys well at home.
We don't, but here's the difference. Is the Cowboys are going to play the Eagles week 1 and playing in Philadelphia, which they will probably come off with the win against Philly, which is crazy to sound, but they play Philly better in the heat They're gonna come on this
He
game
doesn't
cocky, and Giants could take advantage of this.
We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, that's what I think. Week 3, Chiefs.
Los.
I'm with you on that one there. Sunday Night Football. Chiefs, yeah, not going to go well. Week 4, Chargers coming to town.
Oh, this is gonna be a close. It'll be a good old slobber knocker, but I'm gonna go with an L.
I'm 100% there with you right now. Week 5, the Saints. Should I put up both in for a win? Call it a day. Make it simple. We'll beat them. All right. Week 6, Eagles.
Loss.
Thursday Night Football. I'm with you 100% loss. I'm in the same exact way. Week 7, Broncos.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with a win in this one.
You know what? I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
I think Russell's gonna come out and be like, Sean Payton, kiss my let's ride ass.
Week 8, Eagles.
Loss.
You know what? I'm with you on that one again.
I have to until improve otherwise. You're playing the return Super Bowl champs who has had the Giants number for damn near a decade. Yeah.
We got
Thanks, Jay.
Week 9, 49ers.
Oh, yeah, I'm actually going to go for a sneaky win in this.
I am
Although,
too.
like, the Giants typically, like, during regular season play,
We lost Rob. See what happens? We let Rob talk, we lose him. There he is.
Stuff, Drew. See
There
what
he
it
is.
is? He lets me talk and just turns me off.
I would never do that. Oh, did we lose you again, Rob? What was that? I forgot you had a mute button as well. Anyway,
So yes, typically the Niners play Giants 50-50 during regular season in the history, but Giants typically play better during postseason. But I think they're recovering this year, and I'm going to go with the W for the Giants.
with the Niners, I'm with you 100%. I think this is going to be a rebuild year for the Niners, and we're actually better than the Niners at this point.
Yeah.
The Bears, week 10.
It's hard to say otherwise. It's the Bears, and to prove otherwise, it's a W.
That's what I got too. Packers.
I'm actually gonna go with the W in this because recent years, Giants have had the numbers of the pack.
Let's get in the couch.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with sleeping on the couch.
She's not even at your house right now, but whatever.
She's
She's gonna call you up under the couch with you.
She's like, you're there by yourself on the couch.
I'm gonna say we lose that one. You and I disagree on that one. Lions.
Loss.
I'm with you 100% there. Patriots.
Win.
Done. I'm with you on that one there. Commanders the second time.
Bye week.
Well, bye week. No one's gonna
Tie.
win. No one's gonna win that one.
I'm gonna go to sneaky win. Giants going a little bit of
Oh my
run.
god! I swear you're like cheating off my paper. Same thing. I didn't even write it down. This one. I'm with you.
Oh wait, I was about to say,
though.
do you have a sweep in the Commanders? Look at
No,
you.
I didn't sweep in the Commanders.
Did you say week 1 with the one?
No, I said loss.
Huh, I'm pretty sure you said the one. I said
No.
loss.
No.
Anyway, week 16 against the Vikings. Loss.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, loss.
Should be a good game, but it's hard to tell. Yeah,
Loss. Okay, week 17, Raiders.
that should be a W for us.
Done. I'm with you on that one. Week 18, Cowboys.
We're that's in Arlington.
Yeah, that is home game.
Oof. It's to be announced. Listen, if the Giants are playing at 8:00 at night, they lose that game. If they're playing at 1:00 and no one's paying attention, they have potential to win. So I'm gonna have to go with a loss in that one.
Here's my thing. I'm going loss because I think last game of the season is the game most likely to have Jackson Dart starting in it, and rookies tend to have issues. So, all right, let's see what we got here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins I gave us. That means you gave us 10 wins. You got us going 10-7. I got us going 9-8. We are way too optimistic, I feel like.
Maybe
Maybe
not.
So you're saying there's a chance. Listen, I mean, at those numbers there, that is borderline playoffs, guys. And I don't think it's crazy because of what we have. And a lot of what it's going to be is going to be based on the health of this team, not based on the heroin or meatloaf, like Jay says, but it's going to be based on the health of the team. As Deb also says, we're high.
Let me catch off these sleeps. Nods.
Here's my thing. Again, guys, this pass rush and this defense is going to be much better than I think people are giving it credit for right now. We as Giant fans are so down on the Giants because of how crappy we played for so long.
Yeah.
You throw in the fact we have an actual quarterback this year. How many close games we have last year, guys?
We have quite a few.
As Cruz is 8-9, and that's, again, very possible. I think we're going to hover right around that 500 mark, depending on a couple of the health is my biggest issue.
Yes.
Andrew Thomas gets hurt hypothetically, like that kind of scenario. Abdul Carter re-injures that foot or something like that. Those are the issues that I'm concerned about.
Well, I mean, you're also looking at better offensive line than we've had in a decade. As long as it stays healthy, gives any opportunity to any player to go out there and throw any quarterback to throw the ball. Yeah. And who was our best ball thrower in the past 5 years was DJ, who has been mocked about being one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
I would say Malik Neighbors. He was pretty good. He threw a decent ball.
Touche. But
by the way, you see the culture posting nonstop videos of Daniel Jones at practice. He's been popping up my TikTok feed and all. I don't know if it's just because of the fact he's an ex-Giant and TikTok's put that in the algorithm for me, basically, or if they're really trying to pump up Daniel Jones. I'm just saying.
It could be. Watch he goes and wins 8 games this year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, listen, you got a better offensive line, and now you got way better quarterback play than you've had in 6 years. And I would say Winston would have gave Daniel Jones a run for his money last year, and that's probably your third string quarterback.
Yeah.
Or your second string, and count the rookie, and then you got Russell.
Yeah.
Your defense is well improved as long as he's healthy.
And this is the key right here, what Cruz just said here in the comments. 2023, I think it means 24. We should have went 9-8 with Tyrod and DeVito. Lots of close games like the Rams. But that was 23. Yeah, 23 we would have gone that with, had a lot of close games. 24 though, we also had a lot of close games, guys. We had a lot of close games the last couple seasons. You put a competent, I'm not even saying amazing, a competent quarterback on this team, and then all of a sudden some of those close wins come out. You put a better defense out there where, like I said, you try, and again, I'm not even trying to be the homer right now, guys. Those of you who watch on a regular basis know that I am probably the more negative of Rob and I, point blank. You throw out the combo to pass rush of Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, Darius Alexander, and Chauncey Golston. You try beating that and covering that. Good luck.
Yeah. So look at a lot of low scoring games. Well, let's say a lot of low scoring, but a lot of time of holding the ball back. And now you have an offense that's competent.
Yep.
They could throw the ball, diversify the ball, and not just give it to Neighbors, who is a playmaker, which you should be throwing to Neighbors, but that shouldn't be your only weapon. You got great running back play right now, and your offensive line has improved tremendously.
Yep.
Over the course of 2 years. So you give time to a quarterback, which this is what DJ needed a couple years ago, he could have looked a lot better instead of a deer in headlights. But now you got a veteran quarterback in this room to start leading these guys to do better.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that we have amazing quarterback play this year, guys. I'm not trying to say that any way stretch the imagination.
Better.
No, I'm just being clear on this. Better is the key part. Like you said, better quarterback play. We don't need elite quarterback play. We don't need that. What we need is we just need better. You throw that in with Cam Scatterbo going all of a
Scatterboo,
sudden with Tyrone Tracy and having a good 1-2 punch now at the running back position. Because I think, honestly, guys, I think Scatterboo is going to be just as much a steal as Tracy was. I really do. I think he's going to be a damn good combo. Those two are going to play off each other very well. And I think you put that in there. Look what Malik Neighbors did with Daniel Jones and Drew Lock last year and Tommy DeVito, guys. You don't think Malik Neighbors is going to be going balling out with Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston? I'm sorry, but those guys, again, are so much better. It's not even funny that we had last year. They don't have to be elite when they have a receiver like that. What we talked about before with J.J. McCarthy not needing to be crazy good because of the talent around him. Same thing. To a lesser degree, obviously, like Jordan Addison and J.J. McCarthy, let's be honest. Oh, J.J. McCarthy, I'm sorry. Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson are a whole lot better combo than Malik Neighbors, and whether you want to use Slayton, Wandale, whoever.
Look at Drew Lock with Neighbors last year.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like I think we're so negative for so long, and I get why, guys. I really do. See, Rob is so negative he left, but I get it why the negativity is there. We've been a crappy team for a long time now. We really have. So I get it, but you got to keep in mind this is a new roster. There's a lot of changes going on. Try looking at this roster compared to last year's and try not to tell me this is not a much better team. Look at what we were at the end of the season with all these injuries and tell me that. As Cruz says, Bo can be a needle mover if he can play well or competent. O'Neal, that line can be competent with a vet QB. I don't think we need Bo playing, honestly. We need to sit and work a little bit on his craft and gain some weight. I think that's what it needs. Drew is like, Gargamel just X'd him out of the split screen for talking too much. Stop. I don't, Rob, we lost him. He's gone. I don't know what happened. He lost his internet connection there or something. Listen, Rob's always allowed to talk, Jay. Just, not us talking to me. I'm a little loquacious. It happens. But, guys, like I said, good roster, tough schedule. So, as much as Rob and I are both optimistic, you don't know what's going to happen because of the schedule. But again, as we said in the very beginning, you can say tough schedule all you want. We have no clue how tough this schedule really is until the season's over. That being said as well, I should also say the one thing that people often forget for whatever reason. You know who plays a lot of the same teams we're playing? The Cowboys, the Commanders, the Eagles. Like, there's some changes because of positioning from last year of us being the fourth team, in the division last year. But we play the same divisions as the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Cowboys. And if we want to prove we're better, we got to play better. And I think beating those three teams is key to really show that we're better, because we've been horrible in our division lately, guys. Absolutely horrible. So here's hoping to a much better 2025. And then, it's all we can do at this point, hope and pray. So, guys, that's going to call it a night for us. We'll be back again tomorrow night. We're going to go over all the latest and greatest Giants news there for you. Before we do, real quick, because I know, Deb, I saw you still in here. You did ask before about Gabe Davis. Here it is here. I haven't heard anything beyond the fact that he did visit with the Giants. Obviously, he's got the relationship there with Brian Dable and Joe Shane from their times together over in Buffalo. There's a lot of teams that are interested in him. I know he's also gone on a lot of visits. He's going to clearly go ahead and take his time before making any decision. I know that, like I said, there's a couple of teams I know I've heard about that. So, we'll see what happens. Interestingly enough, I'm actually, I don't really typically do this very often, as I'm looking just to verify there's no other new news I saw in the meantime. I'm going to put this up on screenshot here for you guys real quick here and share my screen, because this is a little crazy here. 1 second here. Where did it go? As I'm looking for more information, look at I don't know if you can see the PFF page here. PFF says Gabe Davis, New York Giants wide receiver. Interesting that PFF had that there. Now, I think that's just a mistake. I don't think they know anything. but I had to put that up real quick for you guys to share. I thought that was interesting that they did that. But again, he's been visiting with a couple of teams there, so we'll see what happens. He visited also with the 49ers as well. So, we'll have to see. He's got a lot of options in front of him. He's going to take his time. So, but like I said, we'll keep you guys up to date on what's going on. So, appreciate you guys for listening in as always, watching as always. We'll see you guys again tomorrow night going over the latest and greatest Giants news. As always, we are live on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter/Twitch. Twitter/X, Twitch, and of course, Rob's favorite, if he was just here right now, my LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms as well: Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones there. So, again, we'll see you guys again tomorrow night. Appreciate you guys for coming on as always and watching and supporting the show there. And as always, Giant fans, go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.